Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to throw a cast net, what I call the open palm method. So you'll be right hand and left hand open palm. Before we get into that, I'd like to explain one or two things about a cast net. If you're thinking of buying one or just getting involved in it, you have to remember at least two things. When you shop online and it says a 6-foot or 7-foot cast net, you have to think in terms of a circle, and that 6-foot or 7-foot is actually the radius of a circle. So if you're buying a 6-foot cast net, which I have in my case, fully extended, it will form a circle of approximately 12 feet. That will be the diameter of the circle. The second thing you have to remember is that for every foot of cast net, if you buy a 6-foot cast net, there's 1 pound of weight for every foot of cast net. So a 6-foot cast net would weigh approximately 6 pounds, 7 foot, 7 pounds and whatnot. So take that into consideration when you're buying, because if you will be throwing on this net for an extended period, of course you'll get tired or whatnot. For instance, when you're using it or what you're using it for should also come into play. For instance, if you're chasing mullets on a mud flat or on a beach, it may be in your interest to buy a smaller net, say a 4-foot or a 5-foot, which you can throw further. You'll be running after the fish, and even though it will cover a smaller area, you may be more successful in that regard. So those are two things to consider. So let's get into it. But one of the things I want you to understand, you have to understand the principle behind it. And people will just pick up a net and say, oh, you hold this here and you hold that there and you just throw it and it happens. But if you understand the principle behind it, you'll think it's all to do with centrifugal force or centrifugal force, depending on if you're English or American or whatever. And to demonstrate that, let me show you this with a mop. If you hold a mop like this and I spin it, right, you see it's all drooping down, and you spin it, you see what happens, right? Automatically it starts to open out. That same principle is what is involved in being having a successful throw. So it has to do with an actual spin of the net. So without much ado, let's get into it. This part of it is easy. You put this on one of your left hand if you're left-handed, or right hand. I'm right-handed, so I prefer to do it in the right hand. Make sure that there are no tangles in it, right? It's always good to spread it out a little bit. Now, the first thing I will do is you'll want to grab it around waist height, right? So you can let this piece drop at the back. There's no problem with that. Now, when I said about the open palm method, this is what I meant about it. So you're opening the net partially, like this, and that's your open palm, right? Then you will bring this part of the net, which is in front of your open palm, over and clip with your thumb. The next part of the throw is you will grab, I say about a handful of it, right? And then if you're right-handed, for me, it's like throwing a ball, either a tennis ball or a cricket ball or baseball, whatever. You put your left foot forward and you'll hold the net like this, and then you swing. It goes behind you, and then you swing outward, right? Now, when you swing outward, you will release the net and open palm again. This, you let it slide out of your hand. You won't be grasping this all the time. So as you throw this, you open and the net flows out. I'll show you this I'll throw it on the lawn for you to see what it's like. We will take some shots of it, and you can see what I'm talking about. So we got quite a few.